We're here with Finance Boston Senior Associate Brian Rooney and Paul Soughley, you're the president of Meliora. We are focusing on optimally financing a subdivision to sync construction with absorption. So there's a lot to consider in order to keep value at a reasonable level. Explain that for me.
So if you're building a condominium building, you build the whole building at once. So if it's 50, 60 units, you start at 0 and you build every unit and then you start to sell 1 to 60. So the budget gets drawn down 0 to 100%. If you're financing a subdivision, if you're building a subdivision, you never build 60 homes at once and then start sales. So what you do is you end up having multiple loans, 1 or 2 loans for infrastructure and construction. So one loan for infrastructure puts in all the roads, utilities. Then a construction loan is basically for the actual houses themselves, the 4 walls, the roof. That way then you can do all the infrastructure and you build the homes as the sales demand. So you build a couple homes, you put a model unit in, and then you sell those homes off plans, and you build 20, sell 20, build 20, sell 20. You really need to sync the construction with the sales schedule.
All right, so Paul, Brian tells me that one of your projects, Weber Farm in Wrentham, has been in high demand. So how do you balance that demand?
So typically, if to talk about what Brian was speaking to with a 60-lot subdivision, Weber Farm is 55. The first thing we would do is break the project down into phases. And maybe the phases would be equal. In the case of 55, it's hard to divide in equally. So maybe the first phase is 20, the second phase is 20, and the last phase would be 15. And by doing that, we can use the opportunity between phases to increase prices, maybe change design slightly. We'll learn a lot from the first 20 home sales. So we'll get a good look at what people really want in their homes. So when we get to phase 2, we can make those changes. And the same thing then in phase 3. We try and marry the construction timeframes and schedules with the financing so that by the time we get 10 houses built and maybe 20 sold, we're closing on at least 5 of those homes.
Thank you so much, Paul and Brian, for joining us. And if you want to learn more about their projects, you can go to financeboston.com or financemiami.com.